My name is Mark Blackman. I run a company called AccountTECH, and we make accounting software for real estate. We've been, recently, we started doing benchmarking across hundreds of companies and thousands of offices that we work with to try to come up with benchmarks that we can give to our clients. A lot of times, everybody works really in isolation. You know how your company's doing, but how do I rank against everybody else? Am I doing better than most? Am I not doing as good as others? So I've got some anonymized, hard, real numbers to show you guys from where the market's at from a P&L point of view, expense point of view. And at the end of the presentation, hot off the press, nobody's seen this yet. I have numbers, some hard numbers on the first 30 days of the NAR settlement and how it's affecting people's financials. All right, let's get started. So we finished the study this summer of the first 6 months of 2024. We grabbed 100 companies that we know had good financials. I mean, their books are not exaggerated with like a broker owner that leaves their commissions in the company and messes with the P&L. Only people that do good financials. And we did a range of companies from like 10 agents up to 6,000 agents. So we looked at about 100 different companies. This is the breakdown of how profitable they are in the first 6 months. This many of them, in red, are the percentage of companies that just became profitable. Right now, in the first 6 months, only 60% of brokerages nationwide are profitable. And when I mean profitable, I mean they have at least $1 of net profit. And you can see.
You say 6 or 60?
I'm sorry?
Did you say 6 or 60?
60% of companies nationwide are profitable through the first 6 months of the year.
So that's just with $1. And you said $1.
If you made $1 of profit, you're profitable.
So you're not, okay.
And you're in this little section here, 0 to 1% profit. Now, what's interesting, a huge percentage of companies are a little bit profitable or a little bit unprofitable, plus 2 or minus 2% profitable. But there's a big percentage of companies that are not profitable. So we all have some work to do, right? We're losing money because of labor cost. So first 6 months of the year, per side, brokerages are spending $900 per side on labor. So it's really easy. 6 months, take number of sides, divided by your labor cost in the period. We're spending $919 per closing on labor. If we look at it per agent, and unfortunately, a lot of people have a lot of unprofitable agents. I mean, this market is cleaning that up a little bit. It's when I look at the churn in my customer base, thank God the people that are leaving are mostly the non-productive ones, right? So take total labor cost divided by agent count. The national average right now is $461. So having a non-productive agent there is costing $461 just in labor cost. So it breaks out a little bit, but not much. Profitable companies. If I separate the profitable from unprofitable, you see that profitable companies have slightly lower labor costs when you look at it per side or per agent, but it's not meaningfully different, you know? And this was confusing to me because one of the things that I've been trying to do for our clients is give you a formula. I get asked this all the time. What should my labor cost be to be profitable? How should I budget for labor? I get asked this question all the time. So I've been trying to figure out a magic bullet to give them. Say, if you do this, you're going to be profitable. So what I did was I started by looking at labor cost per transaction. So out of the 100 companies, I picked out a few of them that in the first 6 months of the year, a few of them, they did between 120 sides and 250 sides. And their labor cost per side is all over the place. There's no predictor that you would have more sides, you have more labor. It doesn't work like that. For some reason in the real estate industry, the amount of business we're doing has no correlation to labor cost. If I had a McDonald's franchise and it was slow, I'd cut my labor hours and my labor costs would go down because business is slow. At least among my hundreds of clients, they don't do that. So then I thought, well, let me look and see if I can predict it by labor cost per agent. I got the same problem. Companies with similar amounts of size in the first 6 months had labor cost per agent all over the place. So I finally, though, I tell you, I was thinking maybe the labor cost per agent has some correlation to profitability. So I took all these test companies in our sample and I laid their profitability on top of their costs. So this is the graph of labor cost per side. And it's still problematic. I got this company here, one of the companies in this store with 160 closings. They only spend $395 per closing on labor. That's a really low price. In the first 6 months, they lost $7,600. And then this company here did 168 sides, only 8 sides more. Their labor cost is almost double, $750, and they made $358,000 profit. So there's no pattern there that we can forecast off of. So anyway, I finally came up with one. This is a takeaway. I hope you guys, if you take a picture of any slide, take this slide. If you take your total revenue in your company, total revenue before paying agents or anything, take total revenue of your company and figure out your labor cost as a percentage of total revenue. Labor cost as total percentage revenue, not gross profit, revenue. If you want to make 7% net profit or more, your labor cost has to be 4%. If your labor cost, if you can keep it under 7, you have a chance of making 3, 4, 5% net profit. If you keep it under 7.5, you have a chance of being profitable maybe by that thing that we talked about, by $1. You know?
What do you break down as labor cost?
I'm sorry?
When you use the labor cost, in your examples, is it just payroll? Is it just true employees? How do you break it down?
It's all labor. Managers, employees, everybody. And total labor.
Agent commissions.
Yeah, because that's not W-2 labor, right?
So it's only W-2 labor.
Only W-2 labor, okay. Right. If you go north of 7.5%, you're gonna lose 1 or 2% on your P&L. If you go 9 to 11%, you're gonna lose 3, 4, 5, 6, 7% net profit. And above that, I mean, they're throwing the towel numbers. So labor cost is the key. And we took these formulas and we applied them to hundreds and hundreds of customers. And they seem to be remarkably accurate. So keep those numbers. If you want to control what your take-home pay is at the end of the year, control that labor cost of those levels, and you're guaranteed to make that percentage of net profit. We looked at one other thing. So I told you before, we were looking at labor cost per agent per month. So for different size offices, they spend a different amount of money on labor cost per month per agent. As your office gets bigger, your labor cost per agent goes down conceptually until you cross 100 agents. Because once you cross 100 agents, your labor cost per agent starts going up again. Because you gotta hire managers and regional directors. I don't know how to run a real estate office, but I know that over 100 agents, the labor cost per agent goes up and their payroll is much bigger. So I don't know, there's something in there. It looks like in our study it was around 72 agents. That's a sweet spot. those guys have maximum profit right in that space. But there's some people in your community that are really good at this. I don't know if any of you guys know, like Nick Pasquini at Redwood, or if you guys know, well, you must all know Greg Harrelson, for instance. They're outsourcing labor. I think you need to think about outsourcing. So we just did a study of, well, I don't know nothing about outsourcing transaction coordinators or personal assistants, which is a normal thing. But I know companies that outsource accounting, and we do it too. So I did a survey of all the companies that outsource accounting to get what they charge for outsourcing the accounting part of running a real estate company. And this is their labor costs per agent for outsourcing the back office accounting. So if you put them side by side, there's a little bit of opportunities there to save some serious labor costs.
Mark, when you say they're outsourcing, are they outsourcing overseas? Or
Well, my customers, for instance, and every company does it different. My customers outsource to our American-based CFOs, and they're the interface that you talk to, and they're the ones that coach you and guide you. And then when they hang up their phone, our overseas office does all the work. And then our American-based CFO, who's the interface with the customer, takes all the credit. The low-cost labor does all the work. So I think most people are doing it like we are. You don't make the broker or the owner talk to offshore people, but as soon as they hang up the phone, the offshore people are doing all the work. That's how we do it, and I imagine most companies.
Does anyone have offshore labor in here? Anyone have offshore labor? No, actually, just a quick thing, Spear Rock is here as a representing sponsor, that's what they do, they help people, hire, offshore labor. I think, we have one right now, we've had several, we paid, she's incredible, but I think we pay less than $5 an hour.
Yeah, she's at 450 right now.
Yeah.
No, 475.
475, yeah, right, do that.
What's
But-
the
Sphere Rocket, they're gonna come and say hi for a few minutes in here, and they're gonna be on main stage and every 2000. They're our presenting sponsors. But they specialize in what they do is they help you go hire them. They don't actually manage them. That's something this particular company hires. And there's other companies out there that manage it as well. We actually hire directly and manage directly ourselves. But
So Steve, $5 an hour, what are you getting?
We don't utilize them as much as we should, we're working on that, but like she handles a lot of just like agent interfacing with social media stuff, she does a lot of spreadsheet work, like she can enter data, like go into business, like uploading anything, so she's like a resource we can use.
we've had transaction coordinators, marketing people. I know Terry Swanson, a lot of you know Terry Swanson, they have all kinds of stuff overseas for helping with relocation, graphic design. It's quite common. You can get top-notch labor that will work your hours.
Deanne in the back of the room is with me, and if you guys want to talk to her, she runs our Philippines team. I don't know, we have like 30 people there on our team.
We have about 25.
35 people. And one of the things that we learned early on, just a couple of quick tips, I'm digressing here. You want to hire slowly and fire quickly. And when you find somebody that's good, you want to do whatever it takes to keep them. So we learned this the hard way by having some great people, and we were cheap and we lost them. So, like, you have to give a Filipino 13 months of pay a year. We give our people up to 15 months a year of pay. You have to cover their health insurance. You have to give them money to pay their taxes legally so they can be legal. And if you want to be culturally appropriate, you have to give them a large 25-pound bag of rice every year. So there's all these cultural.
We don't do that.
Yeah, it's cultural. You're an employer that will normally give you a large bag of rice every month.
It's rice and internet allowance every month. So in the
Yeah,
Philippines.
we started with the
That's
rice.
all. I have no idea.
But
But we do,
anyway,
that's true, we pay our, the regular salary, and in December, we pay her a 13-month bonus.
Yeah, we didn't give her a health, like a health insurance.
We give her
Yeah,
enough.
because they gotta live a life, and it's cheap to us.
It's not expensive.
It's much cheaper to pay a little more and keep awesome people than it is to churn because we're too cheap. So anyway, that's my only plug for this, is if you want to outsource some labor, then please talk to us, because we do a great job with outsourcing. Yeah. Okay, so I want to come back to, I want to get into the NAR section of this, okay? One of the big concerns with the NAR settlement, and a lot of people are talking about, is maybe commission rates overall are gonna tend downward. And that's something that everybody's been talking about. I want to show you some headlines. We ran some studies for a couple hundred of our customers to see if margins go down to past 2.5%, if they go down to 2.25, if they go down to 2% on this side and the south side. You gotta have to figure out a way to adapt with your overhead. Because if your overhead stays the same, this is how we did our study, if your overhead stays the same and commission margins go to 2%, for the customers in our study that had between 50 and 75 agents, 82% of those customers are gonna be unprofitable. If they don't adapt, if the margins go down and they don't adapt their overhead, then it's looking grim. Companies between 100 and 200 agents, if they keep their expenses level where they are and margins go down to 2%, only 9% of them are going to be profitable of the customers in our study. So if margins go down, you've got to adapt in terms of your overhead. There's no way around it.
Yeah, but what you're showing us is a spreadsheet on how to get less competition, so that's good, I like that. That's good, as long as they keep going unprofitable, that's okay.
But I have to tell you, it is the golden age for M&A. You know,
Yeah, it really is.
if every other phone call I get is Jim D'Amico calling, okay, I bought another company. Every phone call. I want to give you guys a tool that you can use to play around with these numbers. If you're an AccountTECH customer already, go to your spotlights and pull the NAR forecasting numbers up. And you see something like this. This is a real Century 21 office. I ran it on the 2023 numbers, okay? So in 2023, this is a real Century 21. They had 134 agents in 3 offices. They sold $352 million. And they have really high average commission, it's 3.26, that's crazy high. I don't know how to do that. And you know, you have high split agents, low split agents. You average it all together, they're keeping 19.07%, and the agents are getting whatever the rest, right? And this company in 2023 made $44,000, and that was at 3.26%. If the margins go down in their, if they go down to 3%, that same company will lose $131,000. If they go down to 2.5%, that company is going to lose $468,000 on the same production. If they go down to 2, well, all bets are off. If they go down to 2, I don't know what's going to happen. But everybody's aware of this, and everybody's already trying to figure out how to adapt their overhead. If you're not an AccountTECH customer, you can scan this QR code or go to this address right here, and when you put a tool on the website, when you can put in your sales and how much are you keeping of the agent's commission, and you can figure out these numbers for yourself, everything from a 4% margin down to a 2% margin, and it'll calculate it all for you automatically. So that's a tool you all can use if you want. It's just free. It's at the website. Have a nice time. I got one last thing. We're 30 days into NAR. We got there. So I want to have some numbers to show you guys about what we're seeing. I promise we're going to end on good news. All right, so here's what we did. We looked at 8/17/23 to 9/17/23. Follow me? And we looked at over 600 offices. And 18,000 last year, 12,000 this year. By the way, let's be clear about this. I don't know if any of you guys have ever experienced this, where you have a pending deal, the agents turn in a pending deal, or they don't turn it in at all, or you find out at 3 minutes after it closed, and can I have my check in 5 minutes? You know, this kind of thing. So you do know real estate.
Or they have a pending deal that died, they never tell you about it? Sits over here.
Talk to Mike Gilmer about that. He read his people the riot act, cleaning that up. So as all these pending deals close, the numbers will get, the numbers of transactions is not going down. It's not going down. So the question is, are the commissions that we're charging buyers and sellers going down? So that's what we figured out, you know? So first piece of good news. In 2023, the buyer side commissions that we were charging across all of those 600 offices was 2.595. First 30 days in NAR, 2.545. Hardly any change at all. I got one piece of better news. This side, it actually shot out a tiny bit. So I don't know what to make of that, but those are the numbers across hundreds of offices. So I think we've got a big enough sample set, so these numbers are real.
But if you talk to Mike Gilmore, he'll tell you when they went to buyer's agency, they made more money. The state of, every class I've been in with him, he has said, when they went to buyer agency agreements in Washington, they were making more money.
Yeah, that number should start going up in the next 45 to 60 days.
If you're doing it right, then you're getting more money.
If those numbers continue to move in this direction, like we're sitting in this first 30 days, what's the expression? It's a professional expression they use. Hallelujah, say, praise the Lord.
We think down here, sweet Jesus, but okay.
Yeah, but anyway, so cut your expenses. If commission rates do start to drop, cut expenses like crazy. And